At 6:15 in the morning in Terminal 3, there are 6 different doors leading to the exact same aircraft, and only one of them has a sign. You have seen the other 5 doors. You have walked past them. But the airport does not explain what they are, because the airport is a machine, built to do one thing perfectly. It is the most honest class system in the country, and it sorts people while they are busy taking off their shoes. Nobody talks about the sorting. They just follow the line they were assigned to, looking at the floor. The architecture itself enforces the rule. The ceiling is lower where the line is longest, pressing the weight into your shoulders. Level 0 is the baseline. It costs whatever the basic economy ticket costs, and it comes with a specific psychological weight. The weight of being managed. When you arrive at the airport at level 0, the building treats you as a logistical problem to be contained. You are told where to stand, when to move, and which bin to use for your laptop. There is no autonomy here. The architecture itself is designed to make you compliant. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead, and the announcements repeat the same warnings about unattended bags. You shuffle forward, 6 inches at a time, carrying your coat, your shoes, and your plastic bags. The system is stripping you down to your component parts before it lets you through. At this level, you pay for the flight with your time. You arrive 3 hours early because the system is unpredictable. You stand in the check-in line, then you stand in the security line, then you stand in the boarding line. You are spending hours of your life just to get to the point where the actual service begins. The system relies on this. It relies on the fact that your time is not yet valuable enough to buy back. If everyone at level 0 realized they were trading 3 hours of their life for a cheaper seat, the math would break. But the airport obscures the math by making the wait feel inevitable. It is not inevitable. It is just the default. Level 1 costs exactly $85. That is the price of TSA PreCheck, valid for 5 years. It breaks down to $17 a year. It is the cheapest structural upgrade in the American travel system, yet the majority of travelers do not have it. They look at the $85 fee and see an unnecessary luxury expense. They do the math wrong. They weigh the fee against a single trip, instead of weighing it against the compound interest of their own frustration over 5 years. $17 a year is less than the cost of the terrible airport sandwich you buy because you are stressed. But the baseline conditions you to accept the friction as part of the price of the ticket. What you buy for $17 a year is not just speed. You buy back your dignity. You keep your shoes on. You leave your laptop in the bag. You are no longer treated as a logistical hazard. The building has partitioned you into a separate category of citizen. The psychological shift is immediate and physical. You walk past the baseline queue, and you feel a quiet, undeniable relief. You have paid to escape the baseline, and the system acknowledges the transaction. The ceiling above this lane is slightly higher. The lights are slightly warmer. The design of the space tells you that you have made the right choice, and it does so without saying a word. Level 2 is clear. It costs $189 a year. This is where the physical separation becomes overt. Clear does not just give you a different line. It gives you a human escort. An employee scans your eyes, walks you past the people standing in the pre-check line, and inserts you at the very front of the physical security checkpoint. You are literally cutting the line, and the system sanctions it because you paid the toll. There is a specific tension at level 2. When the escort walks you past the pre-check line, the people waiting there watch you. They know you paid more. You know you paid more. The airport has designed this interaction to be highly visible. The visibility is part of the product. The system uses the frustration of the baseline to sell the upgrade. If the regular line was fast, nobody would pay the $189. The friction is intentional. The airport is a marketplace of friction, and Clear is selling the most basic human desire, to be placed above the crowd. Level 3 is Airline Elite status. This is the first level you cannot simply buy with a credit card fee. You have to earn it with mileage, which usually means your company is paying for it. You fly 50,000 miles a year. The airport recognizes this. The screens say your name. You get a different counter with a red carpet. The luggage tags are bright orange and say priority. The system is labeling your bags so the handlers know they belong to someone who matters to the bottom line. At 50,000 miles, the airport begins to shrink. The massive, overwhelming building you experience at level 0 becomes a series of small, managed corridors. You drop your bag at the premium counter. You use the dedicated elite security lane. You do not wait. The physical space you are forced to occupy is smaller, cleaner, and quieter. The airport is filtering out the noise for you. The velvet rope is real, but it is invisible until you cross it. The boundary between level 2 and level 3 is the difference between having money and having value to the institution. The airline does not care about your clear membership. It cares about your loyalty. The red carpet is cheap to produce, but it is incredibly effective at making you forget that you are still just sitting in a metal tube for 6 hours. Level 4 is the lounge. An expensive annual fee, or included with a premium credit card, the lounge is the ultimate architectural partition. It is a room with no windows to the terminal, only windows to the tarmac. Once you pass the frosted glass doors, the airport ceases to exist. The public address system is silenced. The seating is not bolted to the floor. The food is free. The coffee is not in a paper cup. The lounge is designed to make you forget you are in a transit hub. What you are buying at level 4 is not the mediocre buffet or the complimentary well drinks. You are buying distance. You are buying distance from the general public. You are buying a chair with an outlet that you do not have to fight for. You are buying a clean bathroom. You are paying to exist in a space where the rules of scarcity have been suspended. The baseline airport operates on extreme scarcity. The lounge operates on artificial abundance, funded by annual fees. But the lounge is a trap. It is mass luxury. It feels exclusive until you realize there is a line to get in, because everyone else figured out the credit card loophole too. You stand outside the frosted doors, waiting for someone to leave so you can enter and eat cold eggs. The system has sold you the illusion of wealth, while still treating you as inventory. You are just inventory in a slightly nicer holding pen. The scarcity has simply been moved from the terminal floor to the lounge entrance. You are still waiting. You have just paid hundreds of dollars for the privilege of waiting on a softer chair. Level 5 is International First Class. $12,000 for a ticket. This is where the airline stops treating you as a passenger and starts treating you as a client. You do not go to the regular lounge. You go to a dedicated first-class facility. The food is ordered from a menu. The champagne is real. When it is time to board, you do not walk to the gate. An agent comes to find you. They walk you down a private jet bridge, bypassing the terminal entirely. At this premium level, the airport reveals its hidden infrastructure. There are elevators you never noticed, corridors that look like maintenance doors. The agent scans a badge, a blank wall opens, and suddenly you are standing on the tarmac next to a Porsche. They drive you to the plane. The massive, complex building that everyone else is navigating on foot has been reduced to a simple car ride. The architecture bends around the money. The physical space is rewritten for you. Level 6 is PS, the private suite at LAX, or Atlanta. It costs $4,500 per flight on top of your ticket. At this level, you do not go to the airport at all. You go to a private compound 2 miles away. You have your own suite with a bed, a shower, and a pantry. When the plane is ready, the TSA agents come to your suite. You clear security in private, then they drive you across the runway and put you directly into your seat. The defining feature of Level 6 is the complete erasure of the airport. The building is a problem, and the solution is to remove it from your reality. You never see a departure board. You never hear an announcement. You never encounter another passenger until you are sitting in your seat on the aircraft. The system has reached its logical conclusion. The ultimate luxury in a transit hub is to not experience the transit hub. You have paid $4,500 to buy back your absence. Level 7 is the fractional jet. Wheels up. NetJets. You buy 50 hours of flight time for an exorbitant fee. Now, the commercial aircraft is gone too. You fly out of an FBO, a fixed base operator. It is a small building on the far side of the runway that looks like a high-end dentist's office. You park your car 10 feet from the plane. The pilots know your name. There is no security line. There is no boarding pass. At this echelon, you are no longer buying comfort. You are buying absolute control over the schedule. The plane leaves when you arrive. If you are stuck in traffic, the plane waits. The commercial system dictates time to you. The private system bends time around you. The arithmetic changes entirely. You are paying a massive premium because an hour of your time is genuinely worth more than the cost of the jet fuel. It is a harsh equation, but it is rational. Level 8 is full ownership, a completely private jet. The operating costs alone are astronomical. At this echelon, you do not use major airports at all. You fly out of Teterboro or Van Nuys. The infrastructure shifts again. The plane is an extension of your house. It is stocked with your preferred brand of sparkling water. The bed has your specific sheets. The airspace itself becomes a private network, completely disconnected from the commercial reality. There are no gates, no terminals, and no shared spaces. The world is reconfigured into a series of private points connected by a private sky. But there is a strange symmetry to the top of the ladder. At level 0, you are surrounded by thousands of people, but you are entirely powerless. At level 8, you have absolute power over your movement, but you are entirely alone. You move through the world inside a sealed, climate-controlled tube, interacting only with people you pay. The friction of the public sphere is gone, but so is the serendipity. Wealth purchases isolation. And isolation is a very specific kind of poverty. The people at level 8 never stand in line, but they also never see the world as it actually exists. They have bought their way out of society, and the cost of that ticket is reality itself. The airport is the only place left where this entire spectrum exists in one physical location. It is a working model of the economy, poured in concrete and glass. Every time you walk to the terminal, the machine ranks you. It tells you exactly how much your time is worth to the system. It is brutal, it is efficient, and it is completely transparent. The lines you stand in, the doors you use, the spaces you are allowed to enter, they are all price tags. The airport does not pretend that everyone is equal. It measures your value in dollars and allocates friction accordingly. The less you pay, the more you wait. This contrast is the foundation of the entire business model. The premium experience only feels exclusive because the standard experience is so exhausting. The airport deliberately manufactures this disparity, turning basic comfort into a luxury commodity. Most people never see the whole ladder. They only see the rung directly above them. The person in economy looks at economy plus. The person in economy plus looks at first class. The person in first class does not even know the private suite exists. The system works because it keeps you focused on the next minor upgrade. It keeps you focused on the next small relief from the friction. You spend your life chasing a slightly wider seat while the people at the top are buying the sky. The genius of the airport is that it makes you grateful for the upgrades you purchase, completely obscuring the fact that it created the problem to begin with. You do not have to buy the $50 million jet to win the game. You just have to understand what the machine is trying to sell you. It is selling you the cure to a disease it invented. It creates the friction, then charges you to remove it. It engineers the discomfort so the relief feels like luxury. Once you see the architecture for what it is, you can decide which friction is worth paying for, and which friction you can simply walk past. You stop seeing the $85 as an expense, and start seeing it as a structural advantage. You stop envying the crowded lounge and start appreciating the quiet gate at the end of the hall. The ultimate currency is not the dollar amount on the ticket. It is the ability to bypass the systems designed for the masses. When the airport sells you an upgrade, it is selling you the right to pretend the rest of the world does not exist for a few hours. The illusion is powerful, and the illusion is profitable. The entire commercial aviation industry is subsidized by the people who are willing to pay a premium to not be treated like inventory. But the illusion only works if the contrast is maintained. The lounge only feels luxurious because the terminal floor feels exhausting. The private jet bridge only feels exclusive because the main jet bridge feels like a crowded tunnel. The luxury product requires the discomfort of the baseline product to justify its own existence. The airport is manufacturing the contrast and monetizing the difference. The airport is just a mirror reflecting the broader economy. The rules inside the building are the rules outside the building. The only difference is that inside the terminal, the doors are clearly marked. The next time you walk into a departure hall, stop and look at the 6 doors. The machine is waiting. Which one are you choosing?